Hey guys, welcome back to Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl, where we interview top-level MMA fighters and other experts in their field about love, dating, romance, and that all-too-taboo subject, sex. I'm your host, Ashley Rebel Girl Evan Smith. Now let's talk about sex and violence. What's up, all my naughty listeners? I am back from Florida, where my buns did not get brown. Unfortunately, we picked a week that had lots of rain, but that's okay, because let's face it, your girl's been out of the gym for 4 months, and I was not excited to put that bathing suit on, even though I did spend many hours trying to find the right one to debut these titties on the gram. But it'll be a little bit longer before I post any bikini pictures. I want to get back in shape. But other than that, it was a pretty good trip. It wasn't the best trip. I'm not going to come on here and lie. We had some good food. We met some great people. The boyfriend did a amazing seminar at 10th Planet West Palm Beach. Beautiful area, fun people. But yeah, Miami, it's kind of like the humid, dirty part of LA. Like, it was fun, don't get me wrong, but I came back and I was like, hey, California, you ain't so bad. So it was nice to get away. And probably my favorite part was unplugging mostly from social media and work and, just putting my phone down. I think we get caught up in swiping, not swiping left and right, but like, scrolling and checking Instagram and checking your email and, text messages and not living in the moment. And basically, I got to do that for a little while, and it was nice. And me and the boyfriend got to connect and just enjoy each other without our phones being in front of each other's faces 24/7. And Cuban coffee. Fuck yeah. Super awesome. That shit is way better than Starbucks. I'm one of those chubby monkeys who's like, I'm getting a coffee, but it's really a 5,000 calorie espresso that's basically like a milkshake. So Cuban coffee gets the job done with fewer calories and just strong as hell. Yeah, it was just a good time. The boyfriend smoked some cigars down there. I realized I'm at a different part in my life, so it wasn't like we wanted to go to the clubs and drink and dance and whatnot, but we experienced, part of Miami, a part of Florida, and I think my favorite part was smoking weed on the balcony during the warm rain, just relaxing and being on vacation and enjoying each other. And it was fun, and lots of sex, like, of course, what's new. But yeah, Florida was cool. But the coolest part of my life right now has got to be the fact that I am cleared to punch and kick again. And I still got a boo-boo finger from my fight, but I think as long as I treat it okay, wrap it up, and just don't go balls to the wall, I'll be okay. And then fingers crossed, neck or spine surgery, PT goes good, and I will be able to grapple in June, July, and back in the cage at the end of the year. So, you guys have been with me from the beginning, and you heard me go through the surgery, do the show on the neck brace, talk about the PT, and now it's like, we're finally here at the end of the tunnel. So hopefully a few more months, I'll be back in the cage and, celebrating, getting back in the win column and all that good stuff. Actually, on this trip, I took my CBD because I just love CBD. It's got all these amazing benefits. And what I did was I used the CBD tinctures. I dropped it in my Cuban coffee and tasted good. And A Botanical Bloom, my CBD sponsor, all their products are made from real CBD, not hemp seed oil. And all their products are lab tested. They've got a little QR code right on every package. You just scan the code and you can see the results yourself. In addition to tinctures, they have hand sanitizer, lip balms, vapor rubs, and gummies that have double the average dosage of CBD. You should go follow them at A Botanical Bloom on Facebook and Instagram, at @abotanicalbloom, or check out their website, www.abotanicalbloom.com, and use code AshleyMMA, and you'll get 20% off all of your products. So, if this is your first time tuning in, this is not for you, but if you are a repeat listener, then this is for you. And I basically want you guys to touch base with me. Please interact. I'm going to give you my email. It's not my personal email, but it's the show email. It's Ashley, ASHLEE, at sexandviolencepodcast.com. I want to know what you guys think about the show. We are nearing our 1 year mark, and I want some feedback. Are we doing good? Do we suck? Do you have guest suggestions? Do you have any questions? I want to connect with you guys on a more personal level to make the show better. So, write to me, Ashley, ASHLEE, at sexandviolencepodcast.com. I will put that in the show notes as well. And just drop me an email. Also, our YouTube is up and running. The link will be in the show notes. And I just want to let all of you Patreon subscribers know that we are putting that on pause for now to focus our attention on YouTube to get that up and running. But we will be back, and we'll give you some awesome bonus footage. For example, we are going to have Felice Herrig back on the show for the bonus episode on Patreon in the future. And she's going to tell us all about her new OnlyFans just for her feet, a foot OnlyFans. What's a funny name we can call that? Foot? Yeah, I don't know, OnlyFans. But so what's today? Today is always Friday, and usually the following day we'll have a UFC fight card. Well, tomorrow is just the same. We have a new UFC card. It's ESPN 22 or UFC Vegas 24. They have 2 names for it now. It's kind of weird. But it's a great card, really. The headliner is Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum. I really hope Kelvin wins. He's an OC guy. We used to have the same strength and conditioning coach, John Walker. Whoop whoop. And this fight is actually a long time coming, because Whittaker was supposed to originally fight Paulo Costa, who had to pull out due to a severe flu. And then, fun fact, he was replaced with Gastelum. And the fun fact is that Whittaker was actually going to defend his title against Gastelum in UFC 234, which was February of 2019. But he had to pull out hours before the event due to a collapsed bowel and an internal hernia that required an emergency surgery. That sounds painful. Sounds like he probably couldn't even doo-doo without pain, and I feel bad for him. But, all right, we're good to go now. Tomorrow, Whittaker versus Gastelum is headlining, and then the rest of the card looks awesome, too. We got Drakkar Klose versus Jeremy Stephens, Andrei Arlovsky, Pitbull versus Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman's coming off a win. We got Abdul Razak Al-Hassan. I think I killed that name, versus Jacob Malkoun. Alexander Munoz versus Luis Pena. And then the prelims, we got our girl Tracy Cortez versus Justine Kish. I'm very torn just because Justine trains at Black House, my gym, and Tracy Cortez is Sucker Punch, same management. She's been on the show, just a sweetheart of a girl. So I'm going to close my eyes and just, may the best woman win. We got also Lupita Godinez versus Jessica Penne, who was on the show early on as well. Go Jessica. I really, really want her to win so bad. It's her first fight back after a few years, I believe. It is also a rebooking. She was supposed to fight Hannah Goldie, who was on the show, but had to pull out because she got COVID. So if you've ever been in the position of having a full fight camp, having your opponent pull out last minute or something happen, COVID, whatever, it's heartbreaking, and it's just the biggest letdown. And your body, your emotions, everything you're dealing with is just a roller coaster. So I hope that she's had another good camp, or she peaked at the right time, and I really hope that Jessica wins this fight. The rest of the card looks amazing. We got Anthony Burchak filling in last minute, who's taking on Tony Gravely. So Anthony Burchak, 10th planet black belt. He's a homie. And this is the second time that the new fight kits will be worn. They look exactly like Reebok, let's face it. But we are getting a little bit more money because of it, so yay, more money. And next weekend, it will be the first ever crowds, first ever show with crowds again since COVID, and that's in Jacksonville, Florida. We all know Florida be crazy. So I hope that that is going to still happen because I feel like that's just the door opening for, all the other shows to have fans eventually. Today's guest is an Asian American professional wrestler and former mixed martial artist. She's currently signed to Major League Wrestling, where she was the first female wrestler signed to the promotion. She was previously signed to WWE, where she appeared on the NXT brand under the ring name Zeda. She competed in the first ever Mae Young Classic in 2017 during her time with WWE. She made her MMA debut back in 2011 and is currently 2-0. Here are a few other trailblazing feats she's accomplished. She was the first Asian American female signed to WWE, first female wrestler signed to Major League Wrestling, first Asian American wrestler to tour Asia, and she competed in the first ever NXT Women's Royal Rumble. Zhang has competed for promotions in Taiwan, Singapore, India, South Korea, and Japan. We talk about 5 years without sex, masturbating in front of her grandma, long-term fuck buddies, watching hentai as a kid, losing her V card on a baseball field, triple X toe requests, and so much more. Here is your guest, Julia Ho, or better known by her ring name, Zeda Zhang. So we have Zeda Zhang on the podcast today. Girl, thank you so much for fitting us in between your training sessions.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited and listening to your podcast. And oh my gosh, just so much good stuff on there.
So you have heard the podcast before, right? So you know what you're getting into?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Well, besides all the sexy talk, I do want to know about your career. I know you're an MMA fighter as well as a professional wrestler. Let's talk MMA first. So,
Okay.
are you still competing? Do you have aspirations to compete in the future? Are you still training?
No, I don't compete anymore. I almost competed when I was in Taiwan during this COVID thing,
Really?
just because I was missing it, and I'm like, it wouldn't like go on my record at all. So, I mean, not like it really matters, but I was just like gonna do it for fun and see, but it didn't work out. Timing didn't work out. So, but no, probably won't be competing anymore. Very, very injured. My body's very messed up from it. And I am doing pro wrestling full time. So I have to think about that and not getting injured.
Yeah, and I assume that whatever organization you're in probably doesn't want you to compete, simultaneously in case you get injured, right?
Yes. Recently I actually am a free agent now. So I'm
Okay.
free, but yeah.
So you're
But for
not
the safety of my work, yeah.
so you're not signed with an organization at the moment.
Yeah, I just left Major League Wrestling. They're on good terms. They're really cool and stuff, but I was stuck in Taiwan. I didn't know when I was going to be back, and then COVID, they had their show shut down for a while. So,
Yeah. Okay, this is a silly question. I recently went to my first Lucha Libre show. Now,
oh my gosh,
I,
which one?
oh God, it's called Lucha Vavoom.
Oh, dude, that's the first one I've ever went to. Yeah.
Okay, I'm a fucking fan for life. I wish I could go every weekend. For those of you out there who don't know what it is, it's burlesque mixed with wrestling. And it's just, I've actually never been to a normal wrestling show, fight
Hmm.
match. And, so I feel like my excitement and entertainment standards are very high, because with Lucha Libre or Lucha Vavoom, you get titties and wrestling. And so my question is, like I said, it's probably silly. Is that more of like a comedy type of wrestling, and yours is more serious art? How would you explain the two?
Yeah, so there's different styles of wrestling. That's what's so fun about it because there is no right or wrong way. There's something for everyone. So, for a good wrestling show, usually a whole show, they would have your comedic match, they would have your serious match, they would have your like fancy flippy matches, and that's what makes the show so interesting because there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Um, but there are shows out there where they know their fan base. They're like, they like this, so this is mostly the matches that we're gonna have. For when I was with WWE, it was more of um it was more based on your character. If you're a serious character, then you're more serious. They'll throw in comedic matches and stuff here and there, but it was dependent on the character and what they needed at the time.
That makes
But
sense.
for Major League Wrestling, they were more serious. They were very like so there's a style of wrestling called strong style. And strong style is the closest style to MMA. That would be more my style.
Okay.
So it looks very hard hitting and everything. And Major League Wrestling has a lot of that. They actually have a few wrestlers on there that do have martial arts backgrounds, and they were wrestling for them, as well as having a lot of Mexican wrestlers, which specialize in the lucha libre style, which is very flippy. There's a
Like
lot of
high
cool,
flying.
fancy stuff, high flying, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a mix of the two. As far as comedy stuff, they're not very comedy based. They're more like the serious wrestling type
got
show.
it. So you are a free agent, and my assumption is that the WWE is the UFC of wrestling, right? It's the highest
Yes.
promotion, the most notorious. So, is it every wrestler's, specifically you, is it your goal to get back to the WWE, or are you just happy with whoever treats you right? Because I know there's a lot of MMA fighters out there that they would even say, I'd rather be in the UFC at the top level, the pinnacle of mixed martial arts competition, instead of Bellator where I might make more money.
Oh, I used to look at it that way, and I think everyone should strive for that. I'm lucky that I got to go there, so it's really helped me out a lot now where I wrestle. I I get bookings because of it.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like the best situation to be in WWE is if you're already a very famous wrestler. If you're already famous out there on the independent circuit, then you're going to be treated very well in there and they're going to, cater to you. But it's kind of like being in the music industry. If you're already a famous singer and someone signs you, they're going to push you because they know you can make sales. But if they're like, okay, this person has potential and they sign you, then they'll end up shelving you. So that's the thing that sucks is if you
Yeah.
go in there and get shelved, you're just making the lowest salary in there and you don't get to show up on TV as much, which means you don't really get royalties either. Because everyone's goal is to be on TV and to make royalties so you can get a check constantly. Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, I do love this and a lot of people love this and they would do it even if it was no money. But at some point, you kind of need to look at the money
Oh, yeah.
because you only have one body.
Yeah.
You only have one body, and if you hurt it, you're not going to be able to do the stuff you love. So you better be smart about your bookings and what you take. Are you going to get paid for it? If I get injured at this booking, am I going to be covered? Am I going to have enough money for medicals? Because
Hmm.
the thing is, you don't get free medicals. You got to pay for your injury unless you're with WWE and you have your own doctors there, but they only cover your injury if you got hurt at their promotion. So if
Hmm.
you're outside getting hurt, it's the same with UFC, right? They're
Yep.
not going to help you if you slip and fall,
Yep.
like
Exactly the same.
so yeah, so you better have money, you better have that backup money for when your body's injured. So you got to be
Man,
smart with that. Yeah.
there's a lot of similarities. It's so ass backwards in the sense that, like you said, if you already have a name, they want to promote you and push you, right? But if you're this up
Yep.
and comer trying to make a name for yourself, they're like, fucking sink or swim, bitch. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it's very much like that. So it's like, yeah, I'm glad I went there, but do I want to go back right now? I don't feel like it's my time to go back right now. I still want to explore the independent circuit and explore what's out there and build my name up more. So that way, when I go back in, if I go back in, I would have more leverage with my money, my pay, how I want to be promoted, my character, like everything.
I
I'd
like
have more
it.
control of that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
sound like you have a plan. That's amazing. That's awesome. You mentioned the music industry kind of being similar, and I know you dance and sing. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I used to sing. I still do it now here and there, but not so serious since my focus is pro wrestling and eventually into acting. But with singing, it's just something I've always loved ever since I was 4 years old. And finally I started pursuing it out here when I was doing both MMA and music at the time when I moved out to California. And then when I got signed with WWE, is when I was like, okay, I'm not allowed to do music because when you sign with them, they kind of own you. So they do own you.
You're not allowed to
So
do music?
no, you're not
Why?
allowed to do because they don't want they. I heard that is because they don't want you to make money off of their name. So, for example, if you, because I had my contract looked at actually by Nathan. You probably know Nathan from Black House. So, he does all the UFC people's contract, and he looked at my WWE contract, and he was like, "Whoa, this thing is exactly like the UFC contract, but more strict. It's like a mix of the UFC contract and the Disney contract together.
Oh my God.
That's a WWE contract. So imagine how strict that is. Um, but basically, they own your name. They own whatever you do. You're not allowed to have a YouTube. You can't have a Twitch. You can't have your music. So I had to take down all my music that I had
Wow.
put up. Yeah. And your whole thing is just your pro wrestler for WWE.
Yeah,
Um,
that's crazy.
yeah. So I gave up on the music thing because I had to. But after a while, I started doing it again. Of course, now I don't really have the time to. So now I only do music if it's going to help my pro wrestling. So I'm working on my entrance music now for my walkout.
That's awesome. Yeah. And hopefully, whatever organization you sign with will let you use your own goddamn music.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Because I wasn't allowed to before either. You know, the song that I came out to in WWE was actually, I helped produce it. It was two songs and I had to fix it because I didn't like their stock music. So I ended up getting a producer and remixed it and all that. But of course, we're not allowed to take credit for it because, they own it.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. I don't know if I told you this, but so Blake Troop, we both know him.
Oh, yeah. Blake's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a wrestler as well as a mixed martial artist. Great guy, interesting character of a person, and he sent me a application for the UFC. I mean, sorry, the WWE like a TV show tryouts.
Yeah, yeah,
Did I
yeah.
tell you this?
I heard about it on your podcast.
Oh, okay, yeah. I tried out, and they wanted me to do it to be on the show, and my manager talked to the UFC, and the UFC similar situation. They were like, "You got to choose one or the other," basically, and I was like,
Yep.
"Okay, I'm not done fighting mixed martial arts." And then I was like, well, by the time I am done fighting, I'll probably be too old or beat up to do pro wrestling. But I always thought, like, wow, like, what would I, what kind of music would I come out to? Would I be the good girl or the bad girl? Let's face it, I would be the bad girl. Oh, that's a good question. Are you I think it's the heel or the hero? Or do you play a
Baby
character?
face or heel?
Baby face or heel? Yeah.
Yeah, I was a baby face, and I still am a baby face. Every now and again, I'll play heel. I'll like be a heel, but it's not really my character. When you're in there, you have to be fluid and be able to do both.
Hmm.
But um, I mean, I would love like as I'm because heels and babyface, they have different ways of um doing a match. So heels, usually the veterans are heels, because they really know how to guide a match. And at the time, because I was so new, I didn't really understand how to go and guide someone.
Uh huh.
Um, so I didn't really want to do heel stuff before because I wasn't ready for it. But now I think I would like to do it. It's a lot more fun to be heel because you don't have to stay so strict to the rules. Because the baby face, you can't cheat. But for a heel, you can make up stuff and you have more freedom to just do whatever you want.
That sounds fun. I mean,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
but
It's more fun to be heel actually.
But does each organization tell you you have to be babyface or you have to be heel, or do you get to choose, each match or each quarter? I don't know how it works.
Well, usually you get booked. as you are, unless you're in WWE. If you're in WWE, then if they're gonna have a storyline and they want you heel or want you babyface, they'll dictate
Okay.
that. Some other organizations might do that too, but I feel like a lot of other organizations, they're more free to let you do you because they hired you as a wrestler. So they already know what you can do. So they want you to do the best of what you can already do.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like why like strengthen your strengths, right? Why try not to
Yes.
you're already
But
good in one area, so just build you up at what you're good at basically.
yes, unless you play this character for too long and then it gets boring and no one wants to keep seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
Because the thing with wrestling is you could do this for like 15 years. They want you to do it for a long time. So the 15 years you can't be the same person. It's like your real life. Being a pro wrestler is literally like playing yourself but on a bigger scale. So throughout a human's life, you're always going through changes
Mhm.
and people want to see that. That's why people get so invested in pro wrestling. That's why it's such a niche market and the fans are diehard. They
Yeah.
love it because they really connect with the person
I've
because they've seen
noticed.
you grow.
Yeah, it's you get to
Yeah.
watch someone's evolution as a character in front of your eyes, and that's pretty exciting. And I've noticed that the fans are like, yeah, die hard, live and die. Like
Yeah.
everyone wants fans like that. Just
Dude, pro wrestling has the best fans.
I feel like
Honestly, like I feel so bad for MMA.
yes.
Like the fans suck ass.
I
They
was,
suck.
I was about to say it's like sorry everyone listening who's obviously an MMA fan, but I feel like
Yeah, sorry
sometimes
y'all.
I feel like sometimes everyone's like I love GSP or I love this or Ashley Evan Smith, and then you fucking lose a fight and they're like I
Yep,
never I
and they
never
hate
liked her
you.
anyway. Fuck
Yeah,
GSP.
she
Fuck
fucking
Ashley.
sucks, blah blah. I could do better. Punch him in the face.
I'm
Let me get
like
in there. I can fight better than that.
guys,
Yeah.
so what happened to woo go Ashley go Rebel Girl? I'm like okay.
Yeah, well, what happened to that?
And then at each fight, you have to like earn their love back. You're like, no, no, I'm good enough. Love me, you know. But
Yeah,
with
it's
pro
so
wrestling,
sad.
you like, take a shit for like 10 matches, and they're like, "Don't worry, Zeta, we got your back." And you're like, "Thanks."
Yeah. Yeah, pro wrestling fans are awesome. Like they're really great.
So I ask all the guests, mainly the females, but we have had some male guests that have had an OnlyFans. Are you partaking in the OnlyFans explosion that's happening right now?
No, I'm not on OnlyFans, but I'm on something kind of similar. It's Patreon.
Oh, okay.
So it's similar, but I mean, it's basically the same, but it's just the history of the websites or app that came out because OnlyFans was geared towards like one demographic, whereas Patreon was more geared towards YouTubers. YouTubers who, it started being harder for them to make money off YouTube, so they all moved to Patreon.
Okay. I what I like my perception of each platform is like OnlyFans was like naughty like
Yes,
kind
that is the
of
perception.
X-rated platform, and then Patreon is more like for artists as far as like music and
Yes,
entertainment and stuff like that. But obviously either or, you can do either or depending on what you're trying to put out there. So on your
yes.
Patreon, are you putting out just music or like what do you get if I sign up to be a Patreon of yours?
So the thing with Patreon, because I'm so busy and I travel around so much, and I usually film everything that I do on a daily basis. But of course, I'm not going to throw everything up on my Instagram and my like YouTube and stuff. So Patreon's a nice way for fans to get to see like the in-depth things of my life, like the behind the scenes, what I'm doing. They stay up to date on details of what I got going on. They're the first to know about things I got going on. Like I literally just made my new gear and no one knows what it looks like, but my Patreon people do. And they get exclusive discounts and they also get chances to win like a day with me at Universal Studios or
Whoa.
Disney. Yeah, like I've actually hung out with a fan at Disney like for full day and we just went on rides and
Whoa.
like
Did you
Q
have
and A.
a third person there to like, make sure they don't, crazy fan kill you?
Oh no, I will kick their ass if they try.
Yeah, it's probably
And
the
luckily, luckily it's in a public place. It's in Disney. You get scanned when you go in.
yeah, that's
Can't bring
true.
guns and knives and stuff. If anything, they should be more scared of me. So,
Just cover your drink, It just takes one little roofie and you're like, you know. Well, that's cool. Let's talk about Zeta on a more personal level. How do you identify sexually? Are you heterosexual, homosexual, pansexual?
I'm hetero. That's
Hetero,
straight, right?
straight, yeah,
Straight.
straight.
Yeah.
I
Strictly dickly.
I've had guests on here and they're like, wait, hetero,
I know, like, which one
homo,
is
which one is straight? I'm like,
that?
just homosexual. Just tell people you're homosexual. They're like, I'm homosexual.
I
Okay.
actually said that once by accident. I was like, homo. Oh, wait, homo is the same. Oh, wait, no, no, no. Yeah.
All right. So you're straight. Are you currently in a relationship?
No, Sally, I am very, very single.
Very single. What makes you so extremely single?
Well, I think a lot of times it's just how my schedule is. I'm really busy. I'm literally running to like four different gyms for training, and then I have stuff going on in the middle. And then just merchandise sales takes up a lot of my time. And now I have YouTube. YouTube, oh my gosh, the editing takes up so much freaking time. And then half of like, well, I have a lot of fans in Asia too. So I have to translate everything in Chinese for them to be able to understand what I'm saying. And I can't read or write Chinese. So I'm here using a translator, and
Uh,
just that takes me like all freaking week.
yeah.
So everything takes a lot of time. I'm just
Basically,
so
what you're
busy.
saying is, ain't nobody got time for dick.
No, ain't nobody got time for it. I just sit home and I like do myself, and then bam, all right, done over with, and go. Knock it out in 2 minutes. Bam.
I
Like,
I know you're. I mean, I follow you on Instagram. We know each other from Black House and training, so I kind of, I feel like I know you on a little bit more personal level. This is a lot of guests come on here, and this is our first time talking. But I've been following you for at least a year. We've known each other, before the
yeah, for
pandemic.
about a year. Yeah, over a
Yes.
year
And so
actually.
I've been following you, and I wanted you to be one of our first guests, but you were over in Taiwan, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, I promise when I get back. And then I was like, I would hit you up and you'd be like, one more month. And I'm like, all right. So like, I know you're busy. No, no, no. It's good. Like, you're busy, you're traveling, you're hustling. How would you even begin to have a boyfriend if you're going from country to country?
That's the thing. I really can't. Like, no guy would be cool with me just being gone a whole freaking year. I was gone a year in Taiwan.
Ah, yeah,
And
it's a long
every
time.
time I tour, it's at least like about 3 months. No one wants to be with someone that's gone like 3 months at a time.
Tour for wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the thing
Damn.
is, like,
Is that
yeah,
is that
it's
normal?
just.
Three months? Is that average tour for a wrestling promotion?
No, it's not, but it is for Asia. I would say usually they want someone there for 2 months, because the thing with Asia is there isn't as much wrestling like it is in the US, where there's 2 to 3 shows going on every weekend. So you can really make your money's worth by being there only a couple weeks. But in Asia, you get like one show a month.
Oh,
So you have to like,
you got to stay longer
yeah, you have to stay longer and fill your time trying to find shows in other parts of Asia.
to make
So
it
when I'm
worth
in
it.
Asia, yeah, exactly. Because when I'm in Asia, I don't just stay in one part of Asia. I'm flying all over to different Asian countries and
Okay.
whatever countries that's nearby.
How cool.
So yeah, it's cool to, be able to see the world, meet different types of people,
Yeah.
but it's just, yeah,
Shit for the
it's
dating
just not.
life.
Yeah, totally.
Ah,
So
well, what
yeah.
about, okay, maybe I'm going about this all wrong. You're not in a relationship, so if you live this kind of jet setter lifestyle, maybe you're like a wham bam, thank you ma'am kind of girl. I mean, are you just been celibate for the last year?
I go through phases. I'm very on or off. Like when I'm on, I'm like super on. But when I'm off, I am super off. And usually it's like when I'm really busy, I don't even think about sex. Like I've actually gone through like 5 different dry dry spells, whatever. So
Yeah,
I
dry spell.
literally like, yeah, the longest I went was like 2 years almost with no sex.
Whoa.
Yeah, and another time it was like 8 months. Another time was another 8 months. Another time was 8.5 months. That's literally like almost 5 years of no sex when I could have been having sex, you know.
Five
But
years? That's
yeah,
things are
like
dusty
all
down there.
together, like I know, like I mean, but it sucks because like I think as girls, it's a little bit harder to just do the one night stand and be fine. You know, I've done it. I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely done it
Hmm.
a few times, but it oh, it's half of it is physical, but the other half is very mental.
Hmm.
And if I'm not into it mentally, I can't really get off. I can't really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, I'm dry. Like I gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
like it's not fun that way.
Yeah, and
So it's
you're right. I think, that for women it's more of a mental thing. The more you actually are attracted to someone for who they are, not just their physical characteristics, like you have that connection, that's chemistry, that spark, and then we can literally get, like you said, get off and enjoy the sex more, the physical
yeah,
aspect. And men,
like
I don't think it's the same for men.
it's really not. They're just built differently. They're just like, all right, whatever, and it's good for them. But for girls, it's like I've had people who are super bad at sex, and I still enjoyed it because I enjoyed them as a person. But then there were people who, who are pretty probably okay, but I just didn't feel that into it because I
Hmm.
wasn't really into who they were.
Yeah.
So it really depends. I would rather be with someone more long term. So, but because I can't have that type of life with how my work schedule is, I end up just having like long term, like exclusive booty calls, I guess, if that's what you call it.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
Booty
It's kind
call,
of like a boyfriend,
like
but
a fuck
then
fuck
not.
buddy.
Yeah, like a fuck buddy, but you're like a friend at the same time. And it's like we agree to be exclusive, and I'm not going to get mad if you decide to go get with someone else, but just let me know. Just be honest, just
Mm,
communicate, and that's all I ask.
okay.
Like if you want to go get with someone else, sure, just let me know. Bam, at least like I'll know when to stop it. But if later you stop seeing that person and wanted to come back, then sure, I'm open to that too. But I'm not going to get mad at you and be like, oh, you cheated on me and blah, blah, you can't be with anyone else, because we're technically not together. But at the
Yeah.
same time, we're respectful enough of each other to be exclusive with each other and let each other know what's going on. If we're not feeling it, then just let each other know.
With these, with like, fuck buddy or what else did you booty call? Like a, consistent booty
Friends with
call. Friends
benefit,
with
whatever.
friends with
Yeah.
benefits. Yeah, that's a nice way. Friends with benefits. Like, um, have the lines ever got crossed or, miscommunication? Have you ever fallen for a friends with benefits situation, or has someone, kind of been like, Zeta, I just want you forever, and you've been like, no, thank you.
Yeah, like there's been, I've only had two relationships in my life. So,
Ever?
yeah, like ever. Two actual, like, guys I could say I called boyfriend.
And
Um,
you're my age, correct? I'm
yeah, I'm
33.
33. I'm
33.
33. I'm going to
Yeah.
be 34 in July,
July.
like
July
July
what?
1st.
My birthday is July 9th.
Oh man, Cancer.
Yeah.
Cancer babies. You know what's funny? Our zodiac sign, Cancer, looks like it says 69.
Yes, it does. Oh my, wait, so that means we are a week apart. We're both
Yeah,
33.
we're a week apart. That's crazy.
This is
We're
why
gonna
we
have
get
to
along.
celebrate.
Yeah.
I know this is why we get along.
I know. Finally, the world is opening up, so by July we can party.
Ah, yes.
And you're finally back in town from Taiwan.
I know. I'm here now.
Okay, all right. So back to the show. Anyway, so you have had two boyfriends in your 33
Y-
years.
Yeah. So it's like the rest of the time, of course, I got needs. The rest of the time, they're all like fuck buddy situations.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I always wanted to just like because I'm so loyal to the fuck buddy, I'm gonna catch feelings at some point.
Yeah.
And it has happened where I've been hurt. And I realized it was my fault. It was my fault because we started off as that. And there was no, we didn't talk about becoming more. So if I caught feelings, that's kind of on me, you know? But I realized like I shouldn't allow myself to get hurt over it because this is how it started as. If we talked about it differently, then yeah, it would make sense. It would be messed up. But since it was never talked about and we agreed to have it just be casual, then I have no reason to get mad, you know? So eventually, whenever I start finding myself catching feelings, then I would start distancing myself and, you know, I will let them know. Sometimes, you know, depending on how it is, uh, I mean, I wouldn't let them know so directly. I wouldn't be like, "Hey, you know, I'm starting to really like you, so I'm gonna stop seeing you." That would just be kind of awkward. I just
Yeah.
won't say that. Yeah, it would just be kind of like, "Oh, I won't text as much. We won't see each other as much," you know,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to wean myself off of my feelings for that person. And then eventually, if I'm flirting with someone else and I plan to see someone else, I will just tell that fuck buddy, like, hey, let's take a break. I'm going to go see someone else.
Yeah. I think
And
that takes
everything's just,
so much strength, you know. I feel like I am a prisoner of my emotions. You know, I don't think I'm, you know, what they call like an empath or whatever, but all I know is
mhm.
I am sensitive as fuck, and you know, if I'm sad, I wear it on my sleeve. I wear my heart on my sleeve. If I'm mad, you can see it. If I'm happy, I'm really happy. So sometimes I just feel like, you know, for example, if I was you in this situation and I started to catch feelings, there would be no way for me to like cool, calm, be like, yeah, this is cool. I'm gonna step away. Like when I love, I really love, and you know, so I just feel like that takes a lot of emotional strength for you to be able to recognize that you're starting to catch feelings, and then step back and be like, all right, pivot. I'm gonna get away from this person. Like very almost dude like, you know, like good job, you know.
I, I am, it's weird. I've always been a tomboy. So it's weird because I am very like a dude. I'm actually surprised I don't like girls because everyone thinks I'm like a dude. And I've
Ditto,
actually
girl,
had,
ditto.
yeah, like, and guys, it also is very hard for me to find a guy who is accepting of who I am because they feel like I'm just too much like a bro, and it just I don't know.
And then they
I'm
start
not.
treating you like a bro, like punching you in the arm, like good game.
I
You're like, ow, I want to be treated like a lady too.
Yeah, and I feel like they get intimidated because I'm too much like a guy, and then I have all these guy friends,
Yeah.
so I don't know why they just yeah, and I end up having to go for the super manly men's, but then they don't have the feminine side that I look for too. I like a balance. I
Do
need a
you?
balance.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't like when a man's like super alpha and everything has to go his way because then we'll just butt heads and argue.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, they have to. I feel like everyone should be well balanced. It shouldn't be one way or the other. It's like you should know when to be like a leader, but then at the time, at certain times, you got to know how to be giving and like let your partner,
Yeah.
you know, control a situation if they're, you know, having a bad mood or whatever.
Yeah, you got to be a perceptive type of person, right? You know
Mm-hmm.
when it's time to take the reins and know when it's time to relinquish, you know, power per se, you know, like
Yes.
so yeah, that's interesting. A lot of people come on here, and you know, females that are, you know, strong women like you and I who are in a male dominated sport, and they tend to say that they like a strong man, but he also has to have a sensitive side, right? So
Yes.
we want the best of both worlds.
Definitely. Like I feel like the perfect guy would be like a nerd on the inside, but like a jock on the outside.
Yeah, this is
So you're
true.
like an athlete and you're like very confident, but then like deep down you're really like a nerd and you're really sweet.
Yeah, because you want, like, as I get older, you know, like, fuck, I'm like, why am I wasting my time with these like, dudes that are just like, I pick things up and I put them down. I pick things up and I put them down.
Yeah.
I'm like, I kind of want a guy who's going to be like, hey, babe, let me help you get to the next level in your career, in your
Yes.
confidence, like just whatever, communicate better. And ever since I kind of turned the page and started looking for that type of partner, I found him and I'm just fucking like, oh.
I know you and your boyfriend's so cute. I see y'all's pictures on Instagram and stuff. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, we have our problems, don't get me wrong. We're not perfect,
everyone does.
but I think I've said this before on the podcast. Like once I stopped drinking and started valuing myself a little bit more, as corny as it sounds, he came into my life. He was kind of always around, but it's like that phrase that you attract what you put out. How the fuck does that go?
Yes.
It's like
Yes. Yeah. It's a law of attraction.
yeah, law of
It's true.
attraction. I
It's
was
so
just,
true.
I started valuing myself. I put my head down. I was grinding hard. I got sober. And then, boom, this great person came into my life. And I was like, did I do that? Like,
Yeah, you definitely did. You did that. It's
I
all
did that.
you.
I'll take all the credit. But I want
Yes,
to
you
talk
should.
about these two boyfriends that you had. They must have been amazing for you to actually take time and, out of your busy schedule and see the value in being with these people. Were those um, interesting relationships or were they not so great
Well,
ones?
well, the first boyfriend, I was really young. So at a young age, I've always wanted to have a boyfriend because I was never the girl that guys liked. I was a nerd growing up. I got bullied my whole life. So
Really?
yeah,
Oh.
like I was not the girl that guys liked. I was always told that I was ugly, and so
Hmm.
I just had really low self-esteem growing up, and I just always wanted to be like what you see in movies. Oh, you get a boyfriend. Everyone has boyfriends. Why don't I have a boyfriend? So I wanted that, but I felt like when I hit puberty and because I got made fun of so much for how I looked, I really put in the effort to try and look decent. So I started caring about how I dress. I started like dieting and stuff like that. And then when I hit puberty, it's like I started to look semi attractive for guys. So they would start um hitting on me and stuff. But guys that age, I was young, like I was in my teens. So guys in their teens, they don't care about like whatever. They're just trying to get some. So they're just here trying to hook up. And every guy that like tries and talk to me, they would be like, "Oh, hey, you want to hang out? You want to get together?" Like I fucking hate those terms. I know what that means. It's like Netflix and chill.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
old school Netflix and chills. Hey, you want to hang out? Bitch, no, I don't want to hang out. Ask me on a date.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like
Treat me like
I
a
was
lady, damn it.
yeah, and I'm just like, why is it that every single time a guy tries to like get with me, it's not for something serious? I'm like, is it me? Is it? I didn't know what it was. So finally, well, my first boyfriend, I met him when I was working at my parents' restaurant, and I was 16 at the time. He was much older than me, and the thing is, I looked a lot older for my age at the time. I looked like I was like 21, but I was really like 16. So I would get all these like 20 something year olds that would like try and talk to me. But as soon as they knew about my age, they would stop talking to me, which looking back, I understand now.
It's a
But
good
back
thing they don't
then,
want to go to
yeah,
jail.
yes. But at the time, I was like, well, if it's not about the sex, then why would it matter? Why
Yeah.
don't you want to just get to know me as a person? Like, that's how I looked at it.
Hmm.
I'm like, it shouldn't matter what age I am. You should want to know me as a person first. Because I think of it like you're worried about going to jail because you're thinking about having sex with me,
Yeah.
which is true. So I met this dude. He was 21. I was 16. And he basically asked me out on a proper date. And that was the first thing that took me by surprise. I was like, wow, someone actually asked me on an actual date. And then I remember I gave him like a really like short kind of shitty response. I was like, well, I'm 16. You got a problem with that? And he goes, yeah, and he didn't even hesitate. He was like, no. And that's when I knew, like, okay. maybe he's trying to get to know me as a person. He's not thinking about the sex. He actually wants to know me. So I gave him a chance, even though he wasn't my type at all. Um, he was not my type at all.
But he
But
was the
I gave
first
him
guy who showed you some like enough respect to ask you out on a real date, to
yes,
wine and dine you.
yes. So I felt like I was treated like a lady. So we went on a date and stuff, and then um I don't know why, but I've always been very, very picky. And I was very much a three strikes you're out type of person.
Hmm.
Um I give a lot more chances now, but back then it was literally like so strict. You really got three strikes. You fucked up three times. You did something I don't like three times. Like I ghost you and I'm gone forever, and you're gonna never talk to me ever again. Like it was like that. So, but the problem is back then I didn't communicate. I kept everything bottled up inside. I didn't know how to communicate because like my family, they were always busy at work. I'm the only child. I didn't have friends growing up, so I didn't know what communication was. If something bothered me, I dealt with it alone. So basically he did stuff that like got me pissed off, and I basically didn't say anything, and one day I just stopped talking to him. And his persistence of calling me, he called me like 4 days straight, every day, all day, and I ignored his calls like every day. And then the fourth day I finally pick up. I'm like, what? And he goes, did I do something wrong? Like, and I just stay silent on the phone. He's like, if you're mad at me, I'm really sorry for what I did. I don't know what I did, but if there's something wrong, you need to communicate with me, because if I don't know, how am I supposed to fix it? So the fact that he said that, it made me realize, like, oh, so you can't just like do shit without letting people know. So that taught me that I need to communicate. So um we ended up lasting for a long time because of the communication, but things ended up going bad because at first he tells me that I need to communicate with him, and if there's something that bothers me about what he does, and then I start doing that whenever something that happens, and I think that we've talked it out, but ends up he keeps doing the same shit. So we keep arguing over the same stuff. Like it never gets changed. Like he says it'll change, but then it doesn't change.
Yeah.
So it became like this on and off thing for almost 6 years. I was
Oh.
with him for like 5.5 years. So it was like a very love and hate relationship. And I realized, like, even though, I mean, I don't regret it, but he was very insecure, and that affected our relationship because he would always do stuff to make me feel bad, and yet he turns around and does the same thing to try and make me jealous. Like he wants to make me jealous.
Yeah,
um
I mean, I don't want to sound negative, but I mean, that seems like someone who's 21 years old and who dates a 16-year-old,
yeah,
is probably insecure and think that he probably didn't think he could get a girl his own age or something
yeah,
along those lines. So, I mean, that seems like a red flag right away, right? But, you're
yeah.
16, you're falling in love with this guy who's treating you right. I can understand. I lost my virginity to a guy when I was like on my 15th birthday and he was 19. So, potato, potato,
Ye-
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, okay. So you were in this relationship for 6 years. You obviously became legal at some point.
yeah.
Is this the relationship that you end up losing your virginity to or with?
No, I actually lost it like before that.
Oh, all right.
I like always, I learned about, well, I didn't never properly learn about sex. The first time I
Do any of us
learned,
ever properly learn about sex?
true, true. I remember when I was 4 years old, like maybe I was three. I think I was 3 or 4 when I first saw this like NC-17 movie where like literally every 5 minutes was a sex scene.
Oh.
And yeah, and then ever since then, I was like, that's what I want to do.
Could at that age could you grasp what it was really going on though, or were you
Oh
just like
yeah,
they're
yeah.
wrestling naked,
No, I felt horny,
tingly down
and
below?
yeah, yeah, it tingled down below, and I just knew what to do
Wow.
at like 4. So I started masturbating at 4.
Yeah, no, you know what? I have no guest has told us about that early of masturbation, but I'm a guru of sex podcasts now, and I've heard plenty of other people interviewed, and yeah, as early as 3 and 4, some people start masturbating, and like they just kind of know, what's going on. I feel like I was just like a little girl until like probably my preteens, just like didn't know what was going on. But I've heard of
Like,
stories where like little girls were like humping their teddy bears and stuff.
yeah, it's you like physically you know what's going on, but mentally I didn't know it was considered something, I guess, bad at that age. I didn't know it was like considered bad or whatever at that age. So at 4, I just went with what was natural. I'm like, this is my body, this is what I feel. Oh, touching this feels good, so I'm gonna keep doing
Yeah.
it. And it was so funny because I was literally 4, and then I'm there like masturbating in front of my grandma.
Oh my god.
And my grandma was like looking at me and she goes, "Stop doing that. Buddha's watching you."
Buddha's watching you. Oh my god.
Buddha is watching you. And I remember, and that's when I realized like, oh, I'm not supposed to do this. That was when I realized that, but I didn't realize it was something that I'm not supposed to do. So
Oh.
then I just like hid behind a chair and did it anyways. But you can literally see right over through the legs of the chair.
Your grandma's like spraying you with a spray bottle, like stop it, stop it.
Stop it! Stop it! Buddha's watching.
Oh my god, that's
So,
hilarious.
so like, yeah, and then like when I was little, it's so funny. So I saw that movie, and then more on top of that, my parents, my mom bought me these animes that turned out to be hentai. It was like
What is
sex
hentai?
anime. It was sex animes, sex anime film.
Oh, that's hentai.
Yeah, that's hentai. It's basically
Oh
anime, but it's
no.
sex stuff.
But it's
But they,
cartoons.
yeah, and they thought my mom thought it was a cartoon, but
Oh
it wasn't.
no.
And that's what I saw as a little kid.
Oh
And
shit.
so it actually traumatized me where I hated anime. I thought all anime was sex related until I was like in high school. I was like,
Oh my god, that's
it's like,
hilarious.
yeah. So for the longest time, that's what I thought. So I was introduced to it like very young, and yeah, it was just something I always felt like I wanted to do, and I felt like it was something that I needed to do to be an adult because as a when I was young, I come from a very strict Asian background. So, like, back then, my parents were really strict. They're super cool now. I'm really, really close with them now. But back then, we didn't get along because I was born in the US. They're immigrants. They held on to their old school, like,
Traditions.
discipline, yeah, and traditions. Whereas I grew up in the US, I'm just like, why is everyone else able to do this? Why am I not allowed to do it?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't fair, you know? So we butted heads a lot, and I was like a rebel as a kid
Hmm.
because I wasn't allowed to do stuff, so I had to sneak out to do stuff. And I just wanted to hurry up and grow up and be 18 years old because I felt like I could be an adult and move out and be on my own and do my own thing and not be controlled.
Yeah.
So at a young age, I was doing everything I could to try and learn to be older. So
Yeah.
I started everything young. So yeah, my first time, it was with an older guy, and I mean, luckily we're both legal. It was an older guy. We're in our teens, and it was nothing romantic. It was all set up. It was literally like a fuck buddy situation.
Yeah.
He was just like, okay, let's meet up and let's do this. I will teach you everything that you need to know about sex. I'm like, cool. All right, when? Like, we literally planned this and just met up at the school baseball field and like
Baseball field.
experienced different things, experimented.
I've had sex on top of a baseball what's it called? The dugout?
Oh, the dugout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had sex on top of that one time when I was in high school.
I bet that didn't feel good with the dirt flying in your vag.
Yeah. Got dirt in my vag.
Yeah.
So what about now? I mean, I feel like obviously I'm a very sexual person. I got this podcast. I enjoy sex. I kind of own it. Do you consider yourself a sexual person?
Very much so. Like I said, I'm on and off. I don't know. I think maybe it's because I'm so on and off, it makes me kind of go crazy when I do get it. And then when I don't get it, I'm just like totally like in the zone, work
Grind,
mode.
grind, grind. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm really one or the other. But when I don't,
No, I get it,
I,
girl. I
I
remember the same situation. Um, when I was not looking for a boyfriend, I was like, I'm just gonna do me. It was like you kind of get into a zone of like you just don't even think about it. You forget how great it is, right? And then the first
yes.
time you hook up with someone, you're like, where has this been my whole life? You know?
Yeah. And you just don't want to keep doing it. Like,
Yes, yes, exactly.
I, see, what sucks is the two boyfriend I had, I feel like I have bad luck when it comes to sex. It's like the guy never wants it enough. And I'm
Hmm.
always the one that has to initiate, and then they get mad at me and make me feel like the dude in a
You're just
relationship.
like a horn dog.
Yeah, they make me feel like I'm a guy. It's like I'm a girl and I feel like I worked really hard on not looking like ugly or whatever. It's like, why don't you want to have sex with me? But
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always the one that's having to ask for it and they get mad at me for wanting it. And I've even had guys say to me, like on several occasions, like, I feel like all you want is just sex. I feel like all you want to do is just have sex with me. That's all you want from me. Like, I'm just like, why the fuck am I hearing this out of your mouth? Isn't this
Sweet.
something that
Gender
a
roles
guy?
reversed.
Yeah, so I freaking hate it. Uh, so it's always been like that. And
I
yeah,
You're not
maybe
alone,
it's,
girl. You're not alone. I do honestly think my 47 episodes here with all this research that female athletes, we're just horny motherfuckers. Like, we're
oh,
just,
that's true. That's
and
true.
I believe it has a lot to do with the fact that when you're an athlete, you have higher testosterone, higher
Yes.
sex drive. So if we want to get scientific about it, but also like, fuck, we're like,
I
it's
I actually
animalistic, right?
Yes. I actually know I have higher testosterone because I got when I had a nutritionist,
Hmm.
he took my blood every week and he tested it.
Yep.
And he says I have naturally very high testosterone, which is kind of good and kind of bad.
Yeah.
The bad part is it gives me really bad menstrual cramps every month
Ooh.
because your testosterone, like the levels are so high, so your estrogen has to also go up to match it. So when it
Mm.
comes down, it makes it come down really hard. So you get really moody,
Yeah.
super moody. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, any smart professional athlete, male or female, who has the resources and money should get their levels tested. I got mine tested because, I was vegan for so many years and I just wanted to check things out. And then I found out I had slightly high estrogen and slightly high testosterone, which just like you said, has its pros and cons, right? So like,
Yeah.
as athletes, we actually enjoy the higher testosterone for a lot of like recovery
Other reasons.
benefits
Yeah.
and yeah, like
Hmm.
that stuff. And then yeah, our sex drive does increase, but fuck, we are some moody bitches, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And
We're moody as fuck.
sorry, boyfriend. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So okay. It's my favorite time of the show. It is time for the lightning sex round. You're familiar with this part, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna ask you one phrase or one word. You're gonna do rapid fire, yes or no. Are you ready?
Hmm.
All right, it's time for lightning sex round. Do you dirty talk in bed?
A little bit, not really. I don't get too overboard with it.
Spank or like to be spanked?
Like to be spanked.
Biting?
Definitely.
Choking?
Lightly.
Threesomes?
No.
Do you watch porn?
Unless I was single, maybe. I don't know.
All right, all
I'm
right.
maybe. But
do you
only two guys.
do you watch porn?
Yes.
Any foot fetish?
No.
Bodily fluid fetish?
No.
Bondage like ropes or blindfolds?
No, I don't like being restricted. I feel like I'm gonna fight someone if they do that to me.
Role playing?
I'm indifferent to it. Maybe
You
I'm
probably do
okay.
enough role playing in your fucking work that you're like, you know what? Let's just be me.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, butt stuff on you or a partner.
On me a little bit.
Do you use sex toys?
No, you mean during sex?
Uh, potato, potato, I guess. I recently, with our amazing sponsor, Ella Paradis, they gave me my first ever sex toys at 33, and I'm like, woohoo! And, I brought him into the relationship, and my boyfriend was like, obviously game. So that was the first time that I had ever used them solo or with him,
Oh, well then, yes, I've definitely used this solo.
but never with a partner.
No, not with a partner.
Well, that's because
I
you
feel
never.
like it's kind of, I mean, I'm sure it would be great, but I feel like it's cheating. I want them to be good without it first,
Yeah,
then we can incorporate it. But if you're
that's
not good before that, it's like,
that's true.
don't be lazy.
Okay, ever been to a swingers party or a sex club?
No, but I used to work at a club and it was like all swingers that would go there. It
So
was
you
crazy.
saw some
But
crazy shit.
they didn't get naked, but like they were just some woman was in the guy's bathroom trying to grab all their dicks while they're trying to pee, like
Dang.
just like stuff like that. Like,
That's a horny lady. Okay. And are
yeah.
are you a lingerie lover?
I'm pretty sure every girl likes to look sexy in lingerie. It just makes you feel sexy. Yeah.
Not me, I swear to God. I feel like I've never found lingerie that's flattering. It's always like pinching into my muffin top or fucking a titty's falling out. I'm like, why do guys?
Really?
Yeah, and then it's like, the guy to like take it off, and I'm like, I don't need one more step between me and sex, you know?
Well, no, I wear lingerie for myself.
Oh, yeah.
I
See,
just like if I do a photo shoot, I like shooting in lingerie. But like for sex, I mean,
I
I'm
just
okay. I
I
mean,
just
but it's a
need
little extra work.
I need to work on my self-esteem, just because, we weigh in and then we're like, all right, this is me in shape. So if we're like 5, 10 pounds out of shape, we're like, oh, I'm so
Yeah.
fat. And I just, I know that my self-worth should not be represented on the number on the scale, but yeah, we all got our problems, right?
No, girl, you look good.
Thank you.
You look good. Got the thick
I I
booty.
am thick as fuck right now.
Thick is good though. It's not fat. It's thick.
I know, and my
Got the
boyfriend's
booty.
like, if you could just stay this way. I'm like, God damn
He
it, I need
wants
to work
cushion
out.
for the pushing.
I know, it's too much cushion right now. That is the show, girl. Thank you so much for coming on. Please let us know where we can find you on all the social media handles, on your Patreon, where can we listen to your awesome music, and we just want to stay up to date with anything that's Zeta.
Yes, there is lots of stuff. I'm on Instagram the most, Zeta ZEDA_ZHANG. And I have all the links on my bio that has my Patreon, my YouTube, my whatever, TikTok, whatever.
You know what? My bad. I cut you off too early. We forgot to play Fuck, Mary Kill.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
I just was so excited. I looked at the clock and okay, I knew it was gonna be easy to interview you. You're just so fun. Okay, so for fuck, Mary kill, I'm gonna tell you three names, and you gotta choose who you want to fuck, who you want to marry, who you want to kill. Are you ready?
All right.
Okay, so this is thank you to Pat and Dan Kenny, my homies who helped me out with this. This is the wrestler version. So you gotta choose between The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and John Cena.
I would definitely marry The Rock. I would fuck John Cena and kill Stone Cold. Sorry, Stone Cold. You
uh,
just say my jack.
he's the one that like smashes the beers together and then like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, he seems like a cool person to hang out with. But I don't think I can like be around that all the time.
yeah, he's like your
It's like,
party
hell yeah,
friend.
hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just beer all over me. Like, damn it.
Imagine
Just wash the shirt.
you're having sex with him, and what's his tagline?
He goes, hell yeah, but you know what's funny? I just thought of something.
What?
So I got all these weird fans that just send me like dick pics, and this one fan sent me a dick pic, and he had the pop figurine of Steve Austin next to it,
Oh
and
my
then he wrote,
god.
hell yeah.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
I give him some
Oh
props
my god.
for being creative,
What
but now I always think of that.
that's fucking creative. What is like one of the weirdest DM requests you've got? Or not like a request, like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
unsolicited
do you
message.
want to talk for another 5 hours? Because so much.
What's one that you're like, oh god, this one I'll never forget this.
Okay, so there's this fan that said, I get a lot of weird, like, I get a lot of foot fetish fans. I don't know why, but this guy, he said he wanted to he first hit me up and was like, "Hey, um, I really like your. I think that I really like your feet. I want to suck on your toes and suck on your big toe, and have you stick your toe in my ass and like move it around, and then take it back out and let him
What?
suck the toe
Oh,
again. Like basically
wow.
suck his own shit off my toe."
Okay, all right, yep.
I'm
That one.
just like,
There's a
that's
winner.
very
That's a winner.
creative.
I'm sure Felice has been on the show, Felice Harrigan.
Yeah,
She actually monetized her foot fetish fans and made an entire OnlyFans just for her feet.
that's cool.
And she's killing it. And I asked her if she would come on the show to just talk about that and like do like kind of like a bonus episode. And she said, hell yeah. She said, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
a few fan questions for you. You got some time?
Damn right.
Okay. So at She Fights 2, what type of combat sports athlete do you prefer in the bedroom? BJJ black belt, professional wrestler, or Olympic gold medal boxer?
Definitely a BJJ black belt. You know, they know how to get all up in the crevices and nice and tight. Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely that.
I'm dating a black belt, so I concur.
Oh, oh yeah.
Okay,
That must be fun.
Mhm. Describe your sex drive by using a wrestling finisher. This is from the same person at She Fights 2.
Oh my gosh, this would be a power bomb from the top rope.
Oh my God, that's aggressive.
If I could power bomb off of a like a 10-story building, that would be it.
Awesome. Okay, at Spencer Plata, will you ever compete in? Oh, we already talked about that. Let's see. Ricky Melendez 89. When are we going to see Zeta back in MLW again?
Well, sadly, you know, I am a free agent now because I am healing my knee and also doing some movie stuff. So, yeah.
You, God damn it, you were at training today. Are you taking it easy or are you going too hard?
I'm going as hard as long as my knee doesn't pop out.
You're just like me and every other fighter. You're like, I'm fine. My leg's broken. I'm fine.
Yeah, there's no ACLs, but fuck it.
At Shantified, how did you get to keep your WWE name?
Okay, so my name in WWE was actually Zeta, and they copyrighted Zeta, but it's not Zeta Zhang. So
Mm,
technically, it's not the same,
okay.
you know, because there was another guy that was in WWE with me, and he went by, oh God, what was his name? It was like Fulton, but when he got out, he changed it a little bit. It was still Fulton something. So
That's
copyright,
definitely a
yeah.
loophole, right?
Yes, you got to be
Or maybe
smart
if
with it.
you change the spelling a little bit.
Yeah, that could work too.
That's smart. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, at Nasty Nate Train, worst injury.
Oh, okay. What kind of questions this to be?
Our producer's name is Nate, and our audio engineer was like, "Is that you, buddy?" No, it's not. That's Naderdamus. Okay, at Nasty Nate Train, worst injury you have ever suffered.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I would say like my ACLs are fully gone.
Oof,
Yeah, both of them are gone. I have no ACLs. My LCLs messed up. PCLs messed up. My shoulder was completely torn off, so
God.
that has a shoulder surgery. Yeah, they're a lot of injuries. My back, I tore my glute muscle. My ass is ripped up.
You
Yeah.
tore
Oh,
your
I broke a.
glute muscle.
Yes, my glute muscle is torn. Um, I have a broken rib.
Oh my
Lots, yeah. I got
God.
lots of shit all fucked up. I'm all fucked up.
Damn, maybe I don't want to go into professional wrestling after MMA. Okay. At Peppers and Onions Nation, which UFC fighter do you think would do well in the pro wrestling scene?
Hmm. I would say, oh, there's a few that well, Blake Troop is already going in pro wrestling. He's definitely fit for that.
I think they said
Um,
UFC fighter. Blake is an awesome
oh,
MMA fighter.
UFC fighter.
Yeah.
UFC fighter, I would say uh Adesanya.
Oh
That's it.
yeah,
Is that?
he's a
Yeah, yes.
character. Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, he's a character. Yeah, I think he would be best.
Yeah,
He's a good character, and his moves are like beautiful, and he's
yeah,
just very agile. You got to
yeah.
be very agile.
Oh God, I hate jumping, like like boxes like
I hate it
plyos,
too.
and my strength and conditioning coach Travis from Apex, shout out. He's always like, if you ever want to do pro wrestling, we got to get you to jump, and I'm like, I hate jumping.
I hate jumping too so much. I'm definitely not a jumpy person.
I know, and
I'm very stay to the ground.
I got some new titties, and now I'm like, now I hate jumping more because they're gonna jiggle
Oh, that's
everywhere.
gonna be harder. Or you know, that might be okay. You just jump and throw your titties up at the same time. The weight will push you up higher.
True. Okay, at King underscore Taylor underscore Tay, who was your idol growing up?
Uh, I would actually say my dad. My dad's my
Oh,
idol.
that's awesome.
Yeah, because like my parents, they came to the US with nothing, and to go from absolutely nothing to be able to, have a business, to be able to put me through school and all that, it taught me a lot about working hard.
Yeah, I love that. We gave you an intro before you came on. You've accomplished a lot of firsts, especially as an Asian American, and I think that's amazing. And I'm sure your dad and your family are super proud of you.
Yeah, now they are, which I'm happy. Yay. We're
Now
we're
they are.
like very close. And yeah, now they are. They were not supportive of it before, but now they're super supportive,
Well,
which is awesome.
that's cool. I'm happy that you guys reconnected because not everybody does that with their family. So I'm glad you guys
Yeah.
have a good relationship now. Well, that's the
Yes.
show now. We already know where to find you on social media. And guys, I'll always insert her links, Patreon, all that in the show notes. So you don't have to remember. Just click on the show notes afterwards. And who do you want to see on Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl next?
I would say if it's a guy, definitely Blake Troop.
Like, true.
If
Yeah.
it's
I feel
Blake
like,
is just such a good character. He's such a great person actually. You've met Blake, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
trained with him at
yeah,
Black
he
House.
was there. Yeah, he was there when you were there. Okay,
Hmm.
yeah. So Blake, and if it's a girl, I would say Tay Conti. She was in WWE with me, and now she's with AEW and stuff. So
Okay.
she has a really cool
All right.
background too.
Awesome. Well, I just want you to continue grinding and, ain't nobody got time for men right now. That's okay.
Yeah.
I hope to see you in the training room very soon. And we'll be following your career with whatever organization you join.
Thank you. Awesome talking to you.
Bye, girl.
Bye.
That is it for episode 47. And as we near our 1 year anniversary of the show, I'm reminded of all the amazing guests we've had. I mean, Zeda's just one of many humans we've had the chance to connect with. And whether you're a serial dater, like some of us, or more like Zeta and prefer your alone time or a friends with benefits situation, keep in mind that we're all more alike than we realize. Fuck the labels, screw the social media shallowness. I think we're all a little crazy, we're all a little lost, and I think we're all just looking for happiness. Sharing our stories, experiences, and life lessons helps us remember that. Don't forget to check out the new YouTube channel. The link will be in the show notes. Hope you guys enjoyed our show this week and have a great weekend, all you deviants. Remember, be kind, be grateful, but don't take shit from anyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all your fan questions as always. Special thank you to audio engineer DJ Zol at DJ Zol. Pinnacle Studios, Tomorrow Kids Studios at Tomorrow Kids Official. Producer Nate Jackson at Nader Damas. And you can find us on Instagram at Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl and myself at Ashley MMA. And lastly, as we turn the podcast off, if you can please go rate and review us, it would help us out a lot. It helps independent podcasts like us get discovered and signed and get better sponsorships. So please subscribe to this podcast and tune in next week and hear more tales of sex and violence.